Thank you very much, Rochelle, for this very much unexpected gift. Thank you, Ambassador Hespels. Thank you all of you, congresswomen, congressmen, all the guests. I'm sure my mother is very happy that my father couldn't come because he would make her write a very long speech for him. But it is a great honor. And like before me people said here, the best way for us to try and make sure that whatever happened will not happen again is by education. And one of the things that we are doing when we have a project of Violins of Hope, we try to go to schools, to as many schools as we can, all around the country. I think I've seen probably over 150, maybe even 200,000 students in places that probably never seen a Jewish person in their life, some of them. Probably never heard about the Holocaust. But we try to bring them the stories of the individual people who suffered during the war. Everybody knows the statistics, but statistics, you cannot really relate to them. But when you see instruments like the violin that you're about to hear in a few minutes and so many others, and you hear the personal stories of the men and women who played them, survived or did not survive, it's something you can relate on. So much as like the Anne Frank diaries. My father, he lost all his family. My grandfather, both my grandfather and my grandmother. My grandfather had 11 brothers and sisters. Only one of his brothers survived. My grandmother had maybe 7 or 8 brothers and sisters, we don't even know. None of her family survived. On my other side, my mother, some of you know people who were saved by my late grandfather. Gerard Kushner, his grandparents were saved by the Bielski partisan, and my grandfather was a Sol Bielski. My uncles, Tuvia and Zush, who survived, and saving together with my grandfather over 1,230 Jewish people during the war. Unfortunately, my grandfather, he was sent to the Russian army, would probably be the right way to say it. He had to leave. My grandmother was already pregnant, and later on she heard that he was killed. We never knew where he died, unfortunately. And my grandmother, living beforehand in Poland, decided that living in communist Russia, not exactly her wishes. So she took her parents and my mother, who was a few months old, and ran away as far as she could until she managed to get to Western Germany. She stayed in a displaced people camp for almost 2 years and then immigrated to Israel. Now my mother was, in a way, a very lucky person in Israel, because my mother had grandparents. Grandparents did not exist in Israel after the war. When my father went to first grade, the first day the teacher asked, there were 36 kids in the class, and the teacher asked, who does have grandparents? Only one child raised his hands. My mother had grandparents because as part of the deal between her and my grandfather, he was supposed to save her and her parents, which he did. I have a very big family here in the United States. Many of them came here before the war. Some of them came after the war. And it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you again very much. We try with what we can to tell the people, to tell the stories about those who survived, those who died. And hopefully, it's very hard to say, but hopefully the kids who hears these stories, they understand that there is always a better way than just go and fight. So again, thank you very, very much. You're going to hear Michael Shacham play the violin, which is basically the latest addition to our collection. Again, thank you very much, Rochelle. And again, thank you.